Hi everybody, and welcome to another part of the JavaScript tutorials. In this part we're going to continue with the rest of the project related to crypto data table, and now we're going to focus on the JavaScript code. So in the first part we're going to define an async function called coins. So async function coins, and there we go. So the first thing we need to do is to fetch the API that we're going to work with. So we're going to run const CoinAPI and then make this equal to await fetch. So we'll fetch the data from the CoinGecko. So there we go. We can copy this and paste it right over here instead of the address, and notice that this is going to be a string, so don't forget about the string. And in the next line we're going to add also the response. So define the response, const response, and make this equal to await CoinAPI.json. .json, there we go. And now what we're going to do next is to use the DOM element tbody. So const tbody equals to document dot query selector, and we're going to get the tbody element. So tbody class, actually t and body, there we go. So and here we're going to write tbody.innerHTML, and at the beginning it's going to be an empty string, but we're going to add to it once we go forward and we get data from the API. So the next step here is to now we're going to check the length of the response, and if there is no response or we haven't got any response yet, here, as you can remember, we've got the preloader, and so we're going to see if there is any data. Then we're going to stop the preloader from running over and over again and see what's going to happen. So here, in order to stop the preloader, once we get the data, we need to write an if statement, and here instead of the if statement we're going to check if the response.map has any object. So if we get the object, we will then stop the preloader from running, right? So we will use DOM again, document dot query selector all, or query selector, and we're going to get the class AR preloader, there we go. And then we'll use the class list dot add, and the class that here we're going to use is to write denon, and this is going to remove the loader which shows the waiting for the data. So now the next thing we need to do is to get outside of the if and write response.map item, response.map item. So this is the way we're going to actually get data from the JSON file. So here we use the response.map item. Item is the kind of data that we get from the JSON. So as you can remember, here we defined the response and we use the property map, and item is the output of it. So here we'll get into this kind of function, and here we will change the tbody.innerHTML. As you can remember, we had the tbody.innerHTML, which was an empty string. Now we're going to add something to this kind of a string and add the kind of kind of HTML code that we want to add here inside of the t-body, which are the elements of the cells of the table and are the kind of data that we're going to add to this table. Also notice that here we need another parentheses so that it gets the item and use this. So now I'm gonna paste in the kind of HTML code that we need to put in here, and notice that these are all of the table cells that we're going to add. There's this div tag right over here with the AR table row. So this is another row that we're going to add to the table. And then we've got the class AR table cell. So the first cell that we're going to add is the image. And what is the image? The image is the logo that we're going to show to the user. Logo of that specific cryptocurrency. It starts with Bitcoin, BTC's logo, and Ethereum and other coins. You notice that this is just the logo. And then we've got the name of that specific coin or token and the symbol of it, and afterwards we've got the AR table cell, which contains another cell that contains the current price. And notice that we've got the format currency, which is another function that we're going to add, and this is going to change the style of that number, and it has a dollar. It will get a dollar behind it, so we will get the current price from that JSON file. And also we've got the high 24-hour price, so this is another kind of price format that we're going to add, or a currency format, and also the market cap, which is going to be placed inside another cell. So we've got all of these cells related to each one of the data, and we're going to add the name and the symbol inside one of the cells. That's why they're inside of the very same div tag. So anyway, that's it. Now let me make this a bit cleaner and make this a bit more much better in terms of indentation, and I will continue the video. So we've got this and it's all right. So we need to write another function related to format of the currency. And notice that in order to run the coins function, you need to run coins right over here. And so let's go after the format currency. So it's a simple function, not a async function. So format currency right over here, and so item will be the input of it, and there we go, it's the function. So we define const amount, and this is going to be equal to intl dot number format, and here we're going to determine this to be English USA, English US, and then inside of this we've got another property or another attribute, which is style, and so it's going to get the style of currency, which is going to add $sign behind it. So here we're going to add the USD dollar, US dollar, or USD, so the currency is USD. There we go. And got nothing afterwards. There we go. So this is it for a function. And if we haven't written anything wrong, this code should work for us and create the table. So let's save the code and go live to see what's going to happen. And there we go. So we've got a bit of problem here, and let's see what they are. There seems to be here we've got the logo, it's very big. We've got the Bitcoin, BTC, which are the name and the symbol, but all these data here are undefined. And let's see why they are undefined. So let's go inside of the code, and if there is anything wrong with the format currency here, everything is going to go wrong. So here, one thing we need to return here that I forgot. Here we need to return amount dot format and then item instead of it. So here it's going to format the item and return it. This is just the amount, and this is the format that we're going to work on the item. So let's save this and let's see what happens here. As you can see, the numbers are now all right, but we seem to have a little bit of problem with the table. So you see, we don't have this kind of table, which is much more beautiful than this one. So we probably need to work on some of the other front-end attributes. So I noticed that we've got a small problem here inside of this CSS folder. So the name here is custom.css, so make sure you name this in a very correct way, just the same way as you import it here. So anyway, once we save this, you'll see that our project is alright and the same as before. So you can see all of the prices and 24-hour price, market cap, next to the logo, the name of the token or coin, and also the symbol. So here we've managed to create this kind of table that we were looking for, and I hope you've enjoyed the project. Make sure you copy and paste all of the items in a correct way, and also make sure that you consider all the parts inside of the JavaScript code just the same way as I've told you in the tutorial. And don't worry if you don't get some of the parts or you haven't been able to follow along with the tutorial. I will give a link in the description related to this project, which I will push to the GitHub repository. And with that said, goodbye and see you in the next one.